Good morning, Bloomington. This is Mornings with TCH 219. It's 15 minutes past the hour and a sunny one at that.
We've got a few stories for you today before your morning commute, but first, let's take a look at the weather for the next few days.
Looks like spring, high of 60 with a bit of a breeze for today. Tomorrow, showers beginning at 3 p.m. and a possible some thunderstorms later in the evening. And on Friday, high of 71 and full of sunshine. It would be a perfect night to take the kids out for some ice cream. Let's see what's happening around us. We got some high pressure, low pressure coming up here. You're going to see some blue, dark blue, and light blue right around this section. We've got Madison looking like they're going to get some snow in the over the weekend, as well as all the way up to Traverse City over the lake. Chicago looks like it's going to get a little bit of this blue, but should just be some thunderstorms and maybe some light rain, okay? Overall, it should be a nice weekend. Look forward to seeing you guys tuning in later this evening.
Thanks, Margo. Now on to our news stories. First up is my clinical reflection on being at Bloomington High School for the past 2 weeks. My experience keeps getting better and better. I've been helping the students a lot more lately, and I feel like they're getting more comfortable asking me questions. They did an activity last Friday and this Monday with purple and yellow cards. As the students were walking into the classroom, they either got a yellow or a purple card, and it was assigned to them randomly. The students that had the yellow cards were told to go to the front of the classroom during class, and they were given a worksheet, and the students with the purple cards were told to go to the back of the class with a laptop. The students that were completing the worksheet were working with Mrs. Walsh and Mrs. Smith, and I was working with the students on the computers that were doing a Connect Ed math assignment. I thought this was a really great literacy strategy because the students were given the purple and yellow cards, and they had to know whether they had to go to the back or the front of the room and if they were to use the laptops or not. Another great literacy strategy that I observed over my 2 weeks was the group problem that they did on Monday. Every student had a different role, so I thought that it was a great literacy strategy for them to know what role they had to play. Some of the students either had to get materials for their group, they either had to get the necessary papers such as the rubric for the problem, the actual problem, or a blank piece of paper for the problem that they were supposed to do, and the last person had to keep everybody on track while doing those problems. The problem that they had to do was to compute one of the problems and draw out the picture for it, and then they had to make another one of their problems, and they had to color it and use rulers and things like that. So I thought it was a really great activity for them to work together, and it was a really great literacy strategy for them to know what to do. So it's been pretty great over at Bloomington so far.
Sounds wonderful. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Yes, a word from our sponsors. Joanna's Bridal Shop is having their annual spring sale with discounts up to half off their full line of prom dresses. Stop by between April 11th through the 13th to check out their great deals.
Well, that's awesome. Sounds great, Kristin. And sounds like you had a great 2 weeks at Bloomington.
Yes, I did.
Well, my experience at Bloomington these past 2 weeks is something different was I taught my lesson. I taught my lesson about graphing quadratic inequalities, and I was very nervous on the day. Missy would testify again for that, and I walked in the classroom and my teacher changed my worksheet. And I was so nervous. How could you just change it like that? But I really think that I did a good job adapting, as well as making sure that I had the same the questions that I wanted to get across to the students and help them with learning the lesson. I decided to do a guided note sheet worksheet to teach the lesson, and I know that the teacher used that worksheet for the other 2 lessons, so I think I really did a good job. The students enjoyed using the Promethean, which is a smart board, a different type of them. Very expensive, but very cool, very interesting things that you can do with the smart board, and to get the students to volunteer or participate and, put what they think is correct on the smart board or do the problems on the smart board. Showing off their knowledge was a wonderful way to get the students to participate and to express their knowledge. Students then, I told them that they should sign their name near their artwork or their masterpiece, because it truly was a masterpiece. Math is a masterpiece. Made it a fun activity, even though their incentive was extra credit. My teacher wanted to do that, and that was her decision, and I agreed with it. The students don't normally participate as much as I'd like them to. The students had fun, though. They really did. They participated, and it was great. students reacted well to my guided worksheet, and I decided to do a matchup literacy, which was taking the solutions, the quadratic inequalities, and the graphs, mixing them all up, and then having students figure out the solutions to the inequalities, and then also graphing and seeing what the graph looks like. I think the students really enjoy hands-on activities like that. For this week, I had to make up some of my hours, and I decided to observe and help out in her 2 other classes, which are honors trigonometry. And I had a lot of difficulties with honors trigonometry. I don't remember the graphs for sine and cosine and tangent and secant, and I had a lot of difficulties trying to help students with the periods and the amplitudes. I very faintly remember it, and I really wish that I could have a recap before I was put into situations like that, because it's very difficult for me to say, I honestly do not know. I cannot help you. You have to ask your teacher. And so it just, I don't know, it makes me look not as credible. But the next day we had a substitute teacher, creepy guy. But I think that if Missy and I, were not there, things would have gone completely different. He did not have a strong mathematical knowledge, and I think that would have been very difficult if we weren't there. The students were given a practice test, which they had no idea that they were having a test on Friday, but they are. So I thought that was kind of comical, but they responded very well to the practice test, and some of them actually, finished. I probably am guessing that you had a lot of MAP testing students.
I did, yeah. A lot of my students were out of the classroom for that.
Which is another standardized testing, which just takes time out of their day. I think it was specifically for freshmen, and something with math and proficiency testing. I also found out this week that in her 2 honors classes, there are, I think, 1 7th grader and 2 8th graders, which is ridiculous, but good for them. Very, very good for them. And overall, just a great week for me.
Good.
2 weeks, yes.
Good. That's awesome, Margo. I'm so glad you're having a great time at Bloomington.
Me too.
That's great. So stay tuned to hear more updates on the Pennsylvania stabbings. Have a great spring day.